Welcome back to my YouTube channel MC Coin World, where we explore the fascinating history, design, and secrets of the world's most remarkable coins. Today, we journey back to 1965 to uncover the full story of the Elizabeth. 1 penny a coin steeped in tradition, artistry, and the final chapter of a centuries-old denomination. From its royal portrait to its symbolic reverse design, from the minting process to its place in British numismatic history, we'll delve deep into every detail, every engraving, and every fact that shaped this piece of currency. Whether you're a passionate collector or just curious about the legacy of British coinage, get ready for a detailed and captivating exploration that will bring the 1965 Elizabeth 1 penny to life. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. McCoin World. Today, we explore in the most detailed and uninterrupted way the complete history, background, design, and legacy of the 1965 Elizabeth I1 penny coin, which holds a special place in the timeline of British coinage. Being part of the pre-decimal system of the United Kingdom and issued during a period when the reign of Queen Elizabeth II was in its early and formative decades, the 1 penny coin of 1965 was struck in bronze, a composition that had been standard for pennies for many decades, and it featured on its obverse the second definitive portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the talented engraver Arnold Machan, whose initials can be found at the base of the Queen's neck. This portrait was introduced in 1964, replacing the earlier Gillick portrait, and showing the Queen wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a gift from Queen Mary on her marriage to King George VI. This design captured a sense of youth, dignity, and continuity for the monarchy, while aligning with the modernization of British coinage in the post-war era. The reverse design of the coin was a continuation of a theme used since 1937, depicting Britannia, the allegorical female figure representing Britain seated facing right, wearing a classical helmet and holding a trident. In her right hand, with a shield bearing the Union Jack resting by her left side, the sea appears behind her with a lighthouse to the left and a ship to the right. This design was by Leonard Charles Wyon, who created it in the 19th century, and it became a lasting symbol of the penny for generations. The coin measured 81 millimeters in diameter, weighed 9.4 grams, and had a smooth edge. The year 1965 was historically significant, as it was just a few years before the United Kingdom began serious preparations for decimalization, which would officially come into effect on February 15, 1971, known as Decimal Day, when the old penny valued at 1/240th of a pound would be replaced by the new decimal, 1 penny worth 1/100th of a pound. Thus, the 1965 penny belongs to the final years of the traditional British monetary system that had been in place for centuries. With pounds, shillings, and pence, each coin struck in 1965 was produced at the Royal Mint in Tower Hill, London, before the mints moved to a new facility in Llantrisant, Wales in the late 1960s. The production numbers for this year were substantial, ensuring the coin circulated widely across England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, as well as in some British overseas territories where the British monetary system was still used. It is worth noting that while the coin was common in circulation at the time, well-preserved uncirculated examples today are prized by collectors, especially those with original mint luster, and know where the bronze composition, consisting of approximately 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin, gave the coin its rich, reddish-brown color. Though over decades of handling, circulation, and environmental exposure, the surfaces could tone to darker brown or even verdigris-tinged shades. The presence of Britannia on the reverse connects the coin not only to the Victorian and Edwardian traditions, but also to earlier symbolic uses of the figure dating back to Roman times, when Britannia was a province personified on coins of emperors such as Hadrian and Antoninus Pius, making the 1965 penny part of a 2 millennia-old visual heritage. The reign of Queen Elizabeth I in the mid-1960s was marked by cultural change, decolonization of parts of the British Empire, economic modernization, and the beginnings of a new social era. And coins like this penny acted as everyday objects, linking the public to the monarchy and the state. Every single 1965 penny passed through countless hands, perhaps used to buy a newspaper, sweets, bus fare, or a pint of milk. Its value small, but its symbolic presence Large in the minds of people who grew up with the pre-decimal system, the decision to retain the Britannia reverse rather than replacing it with a more contemporary design in the machine portrait era was a nod to tradition and stability. The Royal Mint at the time used high-quality dyes and precise striking techniques to produce clear detail on both sides of the coin, though heavy circulation could quickly wear down the finer lines in the Queen's hair or the wave patterns in the sea behind Britannia collectors. Today often grade these coins on a scale from poor to uncirculated, with the highest grade examples often coming from mint sets or proof issues, though regular circulation. Strikes of 1965 pennies were not officially issued in proof form. The coin's large size relative to its low value meant it was easy to lose and often ended up in jars, drawers, or forgotten tins, only to be rediscovered decades later by families or collectors. For numismatists, the 1965 penny represents both the stability of long-standing design and the imminent end of an era within 6 years. It would be demonetized and no longer accepted as legal tender, making surviving examples historical artifacts rather than currency. Studying its metallurgy shows that bronze pennies from the mid-20th century were extremely durable, able to withstand decades of circulation without significant structural degradation, though they did often exhibit surface wear, scratches, and discoloration. Many surviving 1965 pennies still carry a strong visual appeal, with the iconic image of Britannia looking resolutely to the right against the maritime backdrop. In terms of mintage figures, millions of these coins were struck, ensuring their availability to the public, but over time, as the decimal system took hold, many were melted down or discarded, further reducing their presence in everyday life. Yet the coin's aesthetic charm and historical significance ensure its place in the collections of those passionate about British numismatics and even beyond Britain collectors from former Commonwealth nations often seek to own examples of such coins as part of their own cultural and monetary history. The portrait by Arnold Machin remained on British coinage until 1984, making the 1965 penny one of the earliest coins to bear his design and one that helped establish his style as a familiar sight in the wallets and purses of millions. The Machin portrait itself was revolutionary in its clarity, elegance, and simplified lines, differing from the more formal and intricate Gillick portrait it replaced, and its adoption signaled the Royal Mint's willingness to modernize without abandoning the essential dignity of the monarchy. To fully understand the 1965 Elizabeth II, 1 penny is to appreciate not just a small piece of bronze, but a snapshot of mid-20th century Britain, a time when tradition met modern change, and when every coin told a story of national identity, imperial legacy, and everyday life. From its production in the historic Royal Mint facility to its journeys across shop counters, market stalls, and households, the coin lived a life as rich as any object of its kind could, and even now, decades after it ceased to circulate, it continues to speak silently of the people, the places, and the times it once served. And that brings us to the end of our deep journey into the history, design, and legacy of the 1965 Elizabeth I penny, a coin that stands as a proud symbol of Britain's numismatic heritage, and the closing chapter of a centuries-old currency system. I hope you enjoyed uncovering its story as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. If you found this video informative and valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to MC Coin World for more in-depth explorations of rare and historic coins from around the world. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.